How y'all doing? It's Judge Lynn. I'm gonna tell you up front. I am 6 or 7 clicks, either to the left or right of rational. Don't know which side I'm on. Usually I know which side of rational I'm on. I just know how far away I am from it. I didn't go to church yesterday like I had planned to. Didn't go to the refugee class this morning. Turned down a job that had Eric been here, I would have taken. And so I'm sitting here, and then I told you I yelled at my coach. You know, yet again with that. Can you do something else? Yeah. So I don't know. I don't know, but you can't allow yourself. I have paint on my hands. I've been painting doors. Didn't like the trim that I painted the house in. So I'm out here repainting trim, making a hot mess everywhere. But the thing is when you see yourself falling down the chute, you don't go like this and continue to slide. You got to put your arms out and grab something and hang on to it. It won't get you back up, but it'll keep you from going back down. At least that's what I do. And I wasn't going to do this either. Even though my coach told me I should do this every day as something that I am certain about and all this kind of stuff. But when you don't know exactly where you are, it's difficult to make sure that you don't say something, mountain stupid when you're in the valley of some other need. Happens all the time. But I'm warning you. Just like in my book, of course it's not there. Someone laughed at me. She says, you're the only person who writes books, puts them behind her, but doesn't put them so you can see them. And the book that I'm looking for ain't here. But my book, Dear Sonali, the first, I don't know if it's the first chapter, but one of the chapters is dedicated to what I call my lean. Not my perspective, my lean. A perspective sounds very permanent to me. This is my perspective. Oh, it says, I'm leaning this away, or I'm leaning that away, because I always continue to want to change and learn, so I always consider my opinion the lean of the moment. Not for my deeply held beliefs, but dumb stuff. Lately, all my life, my whole life has been filled with this dumb stuff. But I got 2 emails from 2 different women. One of them is a widow, not unlike myself. Hello, Quinn. I would read her email to you, but it made me cry twice this morning. Now, that's another reason why I knew I wasn't quite. I'm 5 or 6 clicks away from okay. She didn't say anything mean. She was just nice and kind and loving and very upbeat. And she was saying this is why I liked her. And this just tickled me. She said she was in the healthcare career. She was in the healthcare field for a long time. She lost her husband, and then she became a semi-tractor trailer truck driver. I think that is the biggest win ever. Ever. Man, if I could get in a truck and drive. I don't like driving my car. No less. But I just thought that was such a great win. And I need to find a CDL license of my own, kind of like a license to be something other than sitting here wondering. And I shouldn't have turned down that job, but I did. I couldn't do it. It was too far from home. It was in England. had he been here, he'd have gone with me. It would have been a great vacation, but what you gonna do? I think that's what's really bothering me, maybe. That I could have had it. I think that might be what's bothering me so much. That absent him, I can't say yes to things. I had 2 other calls about 2 other things that I said no to. One said I said maybe to, and then they withdrew it, but I don't know. I think I might be retired. I'm not sure. And I can't figure it out, but anyway, I found somebody who, even in my deteriorated state of emotional acuity, might still be able to assist to some degree. And the only reason I think I might be able to assist this person to some degree is that she is displaying the same kind of ridiculousness that I engage in on a regular basis. I am my own worst critic. I cannot forgive myself anything. I hoard my errors and I can't get over it. And she's just like me. And she listened. She gave me some specific stories that helped me to know what she was talking about. Like she had a friend and they were talking and she made a suggestion she thought was benign and she stopped me short and she said she didn't need that type of advice and stared me down. I recoiled, thought about it. I tried to explain and then stay silent. I still revisit it years later and I'm now very cautious with her and can't quite regain that comfort. But she's a good friend to have and I think she now tries to be considerate of my personality as well. Now, that same situation happened to me in reverse a couple of months ago, or maybe just a month ago. I think I spoke about it here. My sister called to tell me, and she had, she's a doctor. Anyway, and I said, I'm not taking any criticism today. And then she says, I'm not criticizing you. I'm giving you advice. I said, I'm not taking any advice today. Now, that had nothing to do with her. It had to do with me being in a place where I could not receive certain information. So I want you to let yourself go on that one, especially since you said she seems to try to be more considerate of your personality now, these days. But you still think about it years later. And I do the same thing. I'm upset about a couple of things I did in my 20s. One of my best friends ever was getting married, and she wanted me to be bridesmaid, and I wouldn't do it. It's too much for me. I lived in a whole nother city. I'm going to have to drive down there, and I didn't do it. And I'm still upset with myself about it. I just wouldn't be a bridesmaid. It's the weirdest thing. I went and sat there, and then when I graduated from law school, I wouldn't walk. I just refused. I took that last test. I went into the registrar office, gave them my parents' address that sent my diploma there. Daddy flew a cop out that he knew from Ohio to Philly. And me and Chuck, and he drove me home from Philly to Columbus. Because he knew I don't like to drive. That's who I am. But see, that was her and not you. And you still claim that it's you. So you know what I would do? I would say, you know what I have been holding on to for forever? And I certainly hope you're not mad about it. And then I would tell her, I've been upset about that a long time, and I hope you know I didn't want to hurt your feelings. I didn't mean to do it. And I've been hanging on to it. Can you help me let it go? Humor is a wonderful de-stressor. It takes the tone down and everything. And if you should run into circumstances where you are met with an unexpected response to something you said or kind, attack it in real time. Now you have to practice this before you need it, because the time to decide you're not going to get upset about something is before you get upset about anything at all. So when you leave the house in the morning, you got to say, hey. something goes wrong, something takes weird, and I'm upset about what I said, and am I going to ruminate about it later? Don't let it go when you handle it. In other words, somebody says something to you, blah, 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 and you're like, what? Go like this. Unexpected response. Didn't see that coming. I was trying to be nice. Did I miss it? Let's talk, right then and there. Oh, no. I didn't mean that. Oh, no. Oh, did we misunderstand each other? Because I sure wasn't trying to insult you. Stuff like that. And I'm good at it now because I used to say weird stuff all the time because I was an antisocial person. So I said whatever was on my mind. Oh, I used to upset people. And I only had friends who were glacial. I just told her she didn't mean nothing by it. But that's her. When I was young, I didn't care. But as I got older, my oddness. Now I know why my coach keeps making me do this. I feel better now than when I sat down. You know, now I gotta, next time I see it, I gotta call it. I say, hey, you were right, I was wrong. Well, I knew she was right the whole time. But I wanted to get mad at somebody, and she was convenient, and she wanted me to. Because I needed to yell at somebody, and she didn't care. It's her job. And as I started yelling about what was really upsetting me. And what was really upsetting me wasn't her telling me to do more new stuff. It was me doing new stuff and not enjoying any of the new stuff I was doing. So I had momentarily misplaced that, slapped it on her. But by the time the conversation was over, I had taken it back. Because I figured out what was what. And sometimes you got to do that to figure out what is what. It's just to share in a safe space. And well, she also said in here that she has an ex-boyfriend that was very demeaning and very diminishing. And that can destroy your confidence in every area of your life. I've seen it on divorce court a million different times. And you got to sit down and maybe with some help, dig up all of that. He told you he was a bad idea masquerading as a boyfriend. And what he did is he went in there and he just whittled you away. And it's not just, it takes all of you. It takes all of you. I wrote a book, or like 75% of a book called The Whittled Away Woman. I should find it. And it's about feeling like how often, sometimes intentionally, sometimes unintentionally, sometimes a function of social, cultural demands and communal issues and rules, women get demeaned. And men too, in relationships. And when you get demeaned in your relationship, you feel like less all the way around. And I think that's what's happening here. And a bit of your critique of yourself may be an echo of his constant critique of you. And you have to sit down and think that through. And then she says something else. I loved it because she gave a lot of specific examples about she was teaching in a class and the class didn't like her assignment and she was flushed and upset and they didn't outright disrespect her, but they rolled their eyes. And I said, now first, you can take that as two things. One, it's a symptom of your problem, that you judge yourself too much and you fear too much doing the wrong thing. But it's also a good thing because you got through that sucker and it ended up, as you told me, everybody liked the assignment. So I want you to put that in your quiver of abilities. I can sit through that. First of all, it shows confidence. I do know what I'm doing in that room. And if you don't want to forget that, put that on your screensaver. Assignment B52. I don't know what it was, and remind yourself. And you need to collect your abilities on one page, and then collect your weaknesses on another page. And then, this is the cool part. When you have see all your, well, when I do this, now you got to see what those weaknesses have done to you. And you'll find out the things that you didn't do well, the mistakes you made, the thing you made, just said to your girlfriend, wasn't really that bad anyway. But if none of that work, you do what I do. I remember I was giving a speech once, and I had an intern. I was at a law firm, and he did the research for me. Didn't do a good job, and I didn't follow up well enough. And when I was up there, I was like, oh man, somebody brought up a point, and I thought, he's right. And what I was saying was wrong. And I said that in the current circumstance. But I should have figured that out beforehand. But while I was standing there feeling terrible about myself, I kept repeating Hubble telescope, Hubble telescope, Hubble telescope. I think when the Hubble telescope first went up, multi-billion-dollar thing, I don't know, I would imagine, there was a big flaw in the mirror. And then if you go online and Google architectural failures, there was a building that went up, I don't know where, I don't know, it was Southeast Asia or something, forgot to, 30 stories or something, forgot to put an elevator in it. Buildings that have fallen down because, just all kinds of crazy stuff. There was something about somebody left out a hyphen in something that had to do with NASA, and they sent the shit, and it had to explode it because they left a hyphen out. There are all kinds of stuff that have happened throughout here. You just look at the major dumb stuff. For me, architectural ones are one because I like structures and buildings and things. And the one lady here, Quinn, that's why she was also close to my heart. She said she took her house down to the studs and rebuilt it when her husband died. I built a porch on the back. And when my mother was dying, I bought furniture. So there may be some study we could do about losing people and creating structures to help you feel strong. But whenever I do that, I look up major gaffes that people have done and it's just amazing how major building. One building went up, I think it was in Boston, and like 100 of the windows just blew out because they didn't figure. MIT had built this really fancy building. I think the architect was Gary Gay, Gehry or something, and it was really cool, but it wasn't built well. It had mold, it had cracks, and you know what I mean? And these were folks from MIT, very, very smart people. It was trash, and it was a whole building. So I can't do A, B, and C, but I didn't do that. And then do what I just did, help somebody else, because this show did make me feel better coming here, and I appreciate it too. I really, really do. And now if I start crying, I'm just going to leave. Every time you share on YouTube, she said this, whether it is 2 minutes, 5 minutes, or 20 minutes, you're doing more than you know. You're healing parts of people like me who might not say much but are silently walking this road with you. You are my laugh. You make me think, and you remind me that even on the hard days, it's okay to just be where we are. It's a hard day, and I'm where I am, and I'm going to get someplace better.